Linnanmäki is the fantastic amusement park located in downtown Helsinki, Finland. This park opened in 1950, making it Finland's oldest amusement park. This park may be small in size, but it contains a lot of notable attractions, and it has a wonderful atmosphere. In this video, I'll be reviewing Linnanmäki and explaining why this is the country's best amusement park. Linnanmäki's location is both a blessing and a curse for the park. The park is located in the heart of Helsinki. This allows the park to feed off the energy of the city. However, the park is landlocked on all sides, and it's a rather small park to begin with. Linnanmäki is only 19 acres in size, which is shockingly small for a park with visitor numbers this high. And it's even more impressive considering a sizable amount of the park is occupied by a former water tower that's smack dab in the middle. But Linnanmäki somehow crams in almost 4 dozen attractions by building rides right next to each other, over, or under each other. Building this many rides in close proximity has the potential to look cluttered or messy, but Linnanmäki looks great. The park is clean, well maintained, and well landscaped. There are these nice gardens scattered around the park. And the adjacent rides complement each other nicely and create some exciting visuals both on and off ride. And in other cases, the park has had to remove something to add something new. This is similar to what you see at a lot of other parks pressed for space. Not only does Linnanmäki have a limited amount of land, but the land they have is challenging to build on. This park is located atop a hill, so several rides have creative layouts or placements. But the benefit of this is that the taller rides have stunning views of the downtown metropolis. Linnanmäki is Finland's most popular amusement park, and the park can feel quite congested on a busy day. Many of the pathways, both on the midways and in the queue lines, are quite narrow, and in those busier days, you will spend a good chunk of your day waiting in line. While the operators load the rides rather quickly, many of the park's roller coasters have really low capacities. Salama seats just 4 riders per car, Tulireki seats just 6 riders per car, and Kirnu seats just 8 riders per car. And the park only ran 1 or 2 cars on each of those rides during my visits. These lines moved at a snail's pace, and they hovered around a half hour. Then Linnanrata Extra, Pikahuna, and Ukko can only run 1 train. The 2 highest capacity coasters are Vuoristorata and Taiga, but they're also their most popular rides, so their higher capacities are negated. Taiga had the longest line during my visits, reaching 45 to 60 minutes on a day when the park nearly hit capacity. But if you want to avoid Taiga's line altogether, you can purchase single skip the line passes for this ride only. Each one costs €9, and you will board the next train in any row of your choice. This may be a wise investment if the park is slammed. Or you can try visiting on a day with cruddy weather. On my return visit, the park was completely dead due to persistent rain all day, and most rides remained open despite the steady precipitation. Linnanmäki is free admission, and one really interesting thing is that several of the park's kiddie rides are completely free. But that goes back to this park's mission. Linnanmäki is owned and operated by the non-profit Children's Day Foundation, who use the park to raise funds for child welfare work. Some of the park's revenue goes back into upkeep or new attractions, while the rest of it is donated. Linnanmäki has donated nearly €120 million in its 70-year history. That is an impressive amount. So you can leave Linnanmäki knowing you not only had a fun time, but you also support a worthwhile charity. How many other parks can you say that about? If you want to ride the larger rides, you will need to either purchase tickets or an all-day wristband. As of 2021, an all-day wristband costs €42. Given that each ride costs €9 individually, I strongly recommend the wristband if you want to ride multiple attractions. You either purchase or redeem these wristbands at the ticket booth across from Taiga. Linnanmäki is a circular layout around that aforementioned water tower. There's a main midway and some smaller sections breaking off the main path. It can be a little tricky to try to locate a few rides given the park's density and elevation changes, but the park's small size means you can navigate this park rather quickly. And if you do get lost, you can always ask a staff member. Linnanmäki staff is super helpful, and they're also friendly. It always impresses me when a park can balance efficiency and friendliness like this. Before 2019, Lin & Maki's coaster lineup, while unique, was lacking. It had a lot of rare coaster models, but it had no standout coaster. That all changed in 2019 with Taiga. This Intamin multi-launch coaster is incredible, and it's the best coaster in all of Finland. Taiga offers a diverse layout combining decent launches, hang time filled inversions, and several airtime moments. The elements alone are great, but they're accentuated by the breakneck pacing, flawless transitions, and unique placement. Taiga is one of those rides built in the side of a hill, and the coaster dives down the hillside at multiple points during the layout, giving sudden speed boosts. Taiga is the main reason that Lin & Maki should be on the radar of coaster enthusiasts, and I go into more detail on this exceptional ride in a separate review. Taiga is built over a one-of-a-kind coaster in Tulireki. This was the prototype Maki motion coaster, and it's the only one left. The gimmick with this coaster is that the train is able to rock both side to side and back and forth. While the added motion sounds like a plus on paper, the execution is very flawed. Rather than being a smooth and fluid motion like the Arrow suspended coasters, the limited motion of Tulireki just makes the ride feel rough. The ride rumbles down the track, and the experience feels comparable to an old jackhammering wooden coaster. That alone is bad, but the coaster also has atrocious pacing due to several mid-course brake runs that bring you to a near stop. I go into more detail in a separate review, but this is a wretched coaster. Another prototype at this park is Kirnu, the first Intamin Zack Spin. This was the first fourth dimension coaster to have free spinning cars, and it is an intense experience. Unlike the SNS free spins, where you rotate around each rider's center of mass, Kirnu rotates you around a central point in the train. This results in more violent and forceful flips. This can cause some discomfort though, as you're thrown into the lap bar, but the motion is more natural, unlike the severely neutered Green Lantern First Flight that used to run at Six Flags Magic Mountain. I love the free-falling sensation on the first Raven turn, and the final element is crazy. You get a pop of airtime combined with a flip. The ride is short, but it's a fun thrill for the reasons I go into in a separate review. Ukko is a rare Mauer sky loop. This ride has some freaky hang time on the upside down lift hill, and barrel rolls. You also get some strong positive G's passing through the station. The restraints are awkward though because they hug your stomach, but the ride is a short but fun blitz of forces. Salama is another Mauer coaster. This one is a spinner. I love how this ride is built above the River Rapids ride, and also starts strong with a good drop and horseshoe turn. However, the rest of the ride's helical layout is just okay. You hold your speed well, but there wasn't as much spinning as I anticipated, nor any exciting elements. Vuoristo-Rata is Finland's oldest operating roller coaster. This is a rare scenic railway that still operates with a brakeman on board. While the ride oozes history, it is not very intense. The brakemen were super conservative, so there was only 1 or 2 spots of airtime. Even worse, you could come to a near stop on several of the turns. You went so slowly that the brakeman actually had to propel the train at points with his foot. I do really appreciate this ride's history and how smooth it is given its age though. For families, you have Pikahuna and Linnunrata Extra. The latter is an indoor roller coaster in that giant cylindrical water tower in the center of the park. And once inside, you'd have no clue it used to be a water tower, given the space theming. The ride itself isn't too wild, but if you ride in the back, there are 2 drops after each lift hill, with some good whip. The ride doesn't have a high top speed, but it feels faster than it actually is due to the darkness. Then Pikahuna is a Mach-powered coaster. This one offers some neat views of Taiga, but the ride itself isn't particularly noteworthy. It is the park's best starter coaster for younger guests though. But Lin & Maki is about so much more than just the coasters. You have a few dark rides. My favorite was Taika Circus, a clown-themed dark ride. The infectious theme song is still stuck in my head, and it complemented the zany scenes perfectly. The most shocking was a scene towards the end where a bunch of clowns were cleaning up these giant elephant poops. That is something you'd never see in a ride back home in the United States. Next door is Kamokuha, a permanent haunted house. There are no live actors. Instead, this one has 2D blacklit artwork and some triggered effects. I strongly recommend moving through this attraction slowly though, because many of the effects were delayed a few seconds, but some of the floor tricks and air blasts caught me off guard. Another walkthrough is Pelentalo, which is a funhouse. This ride looks like your average traveling funhouse, because it is. While Lin & Maki works to build a new permanent funhouse, this ride was temporarily brought into the park. The multi-level funhouse had no shortage of effects, and they were all working. Lastly, you have Kaiopelinvuoren Hotelli, which is a traditional haunted house. This one was very dark and had some unique scares coming from all directions. The ride's animatronics were pretty good, and I liked the clever integration of modern effects, including some air blasts that came through a screen. For flat rides, you have a strong mix of spinning and pendulum rides. One of the most notable flats is Magia, which is a really rare technical park spinning ride. This ride pulls some serious positive Gs as you rapidly rotate in a circle. The ride is pulsed though and has a lot of dead spots, but the centripetal force at the ride's max speed is matched by very few rides. And this is one of the best parks in the world for drop towers. You have 2 for kids and 2 adult drop towers, and those 2 adult drop towers offer stunning views. Kingi is the better of the 2. This Moser Rides drop tower stands 230 feet, or 70 meters tall, but you can see for miles because the ride is atop that aforementioned hill. The ride rotates on the way up to ensure you see everything, and the drop is thrilling too. I floated the whole way down. Alternatively, you can get blasted up on Rackety, the S&S Space Shot. This one was just okay. The initial launch was solid, but you only get weak floater airtime at the top. If you want to take in the sights without the thrills, the Roncalli Ferris Wheel or Panorama Observation Tower are your best options. The park doesn't have too many water rides given the cooler climate of Finland, but you do have a solid Intamin River Rapids ride in Herjakuru. This ride has rather weak rapids, but it compensates with some Viking-themed tunnels, ornate sprayers, and a massive waterfall towards the end. That waterfall isn't a real soaker, it's more just for effect. I touched on it earlier, but Lin & Maki has a large mix of kiddie rides. There isn't one central kids area, rather Lin & Maki sprinkles those kids rides throughout the park. So do I recommend Lin & Maki? Absolutely. This is the best amusement park in Finland for all ages. You have a large collection of thrill rides anchored by Taiga, and then you also have a deep lineup of family and kiddie rides. So there really is something for everyone. There is plenty to fill an entire day, and I would recommend a full day due to the crowd levels this park can see. The one last thing I want to mention is parking. Lin & Maki strongly recommends that guests arrive using public transportation, and it's not hard to see why given this park's location and the lack of parking. There are some paid lots around the park, but they're not very big, and they will fill up on a busy day. Your best option is to arrive very early, or book a hotel nearby that includes parking. I did the latter, and it made the arrival experience a lot less stressful for me. So those are my thoughts on Lin & Maki, Finland's most famous and popular amusement park. What are your thoughts about this Helsinki park? Have you been there? I would love to hear your thoughts about this park down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.